So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video where today we're finally gonna take a quick look at the Incarnon bow. You can get the bow Incarnon Genesis thingamabob from the Steel Path version of the circuit game mode, and once you have that, and a bow prime of course, you can take them over to Cavalero in the Chrysalith to combine them. This does require some additional resources though. You will also need 20 Patos clamps, which you get from the Autoworm boss fight, 70 Drackroot, which grows around Kullervo's Hold, as well as the central island of the Paradox, and then 80 Kovnig, which you get all the time, so you really shouldn't need to farm for this. Applying the Genesis to the bow prime allows you to evolve the weapon and then unlocks its Incarnon mode. To enter Incarnon mode, you first need to get up to 6 times combo multiplier and then do a heavy attack. This gives you a 3-minute buff that boosts your melee damage by 100%, gives you 4 meters of extra range, 50% heavy attack efficiency, 20% faster sprint speed, as well as a 20% stronger bullet jump. The range boost is the really crazy part here because it means that in Incarnon mode you have 7 meters of range without any mods. Now before you can evolve the weapon and take advantage of the bonuses that the evolutions provide, you're gonna have to do a few things with the bow prime. So you're gonna have to finish a solo mission with it, then you're gonna have to activate its Incarnon mode 6 times during missions, and finally you're gonna have to kill 40 enemies with slide attacks. The evolution options here are quite spicy. The first evolution is a choice between Stalwart Oak, which gives you 34 base damage, and then if you have over 450 armor, your parry angle is increased by 30 degrees and you get 300% combo count chance while blocking, and Swordsman's Flourish, which gives you 30 base damage, but with a melee weapon equipped you get 100% combo count chance. The second evolution will have you choose between Orokin Reach for extra 0.5 meters of range, Overhand, which sets your heavy attack efficiency at 20%, and finally Swordsman's Celerity, which gives you 20% movement speed with a melee weapon. And finally, this is where it gets really spicy, you have a choice between Flashing Bleed, which gives you a 40% chance to inflict bleed on a status effect, which is really strong. Then we have Subtle Force, which gives you 6% extra crit chance and 6% extra status chance, and Absolute Dominion for 30% extra base status. Now while you can definitely do a heavy attack setup with the bow prime, I ended up going light, so I went Stalwart Oak mainly because it gives more base damage than the other option, Swordsman's Celerity for the extra movement speed, and of course I topped it off with Flashing Bleed, which is really good. It's basically internal bleeding or hemorrhage but for a melee weapon. For the build I'm actually running a Zero Forma setup. I'm running Spring-Loaded Blade mainly to utilize the Deeple RT, but this is very much a flex slot. You don't necessarily need more range, so you can put in Healing Return for a ton of healing, or if you want some extra sweaty damage you can run a Smite mod in there instead. Then we have Condition Overload for damage, Blood Rush for crit chance, Organ Shatter for crit damage, Weeping Wounds for status, Berserker Fury for attack speed, and then Virulent Scourge and Vicious Frost, with one of them being unranked to give us a nicer ratio of Vital and Impact. The Simulacrum Showcase is as always level 150 in Steel Path, and we have 10 Butchers mainly to sustain our combo and proc Berserker Fury, and then we have 5 Gunners and 5 Bombards. And the damage is actually very solid, though somewhat unreliable at times because every now and then you just get unlucky and you don't get any slash procs. It doesn't happen very often though. Honestly, the best thing about the Incarnon bow is the extra range you get from its Incarnon mode. 4 meters of extra range on a weapon that has 3 meters to begin with is huge. It just feels good to have a lot of range on your melee weapon, but it also allows for some flexibility when it comes to the build. Melee builds are extremely starved for mod space because there are just so many good mods you have to put in, otherwise the damage is not there. Whereas here, since you get a bunch of free range, you don't have to worry about fitting in primed reach. And that's with me running Vital, which you don't necessarily have to do. You can offload that onto either a priming weapon or a companion. If you do that, you have 2 extra mod slots that you can play around with, which is fantastic. So while the Incarnon bow might not be the strongest Incarnon melee weapon, it is definitely one of my favorites because of the flexibility you have with it. You can go light or heavy, and you can play around with different mod setups. Also, having a lot of impact damage on a weapon where you can still proc slash and it doesn't actually interfere with your slash is tremendously useful for Steel Path, because it helps you bash through Corpus Shields. And Corpus Shields can get pretty big once you get deeper into Steel Path, so having extra 50% damage against regular shields and then 15% extra damage against Proto Shields is really useful. So the Incarnon bow prime actually ends up being a pretty good all-rounder. You have the impact for the shields, and then you have slash, which deals with fleshy units, and it also bypasses armor on the armored units. So yeah, the bow prime definitely gets a thumbs up. It's a really good weapon that offers a lot of flexibility in terms of build and different mod setups. Fantastic stuff. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I would like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, and if you would like to become a channel member as well, by the way, you can check out the memberships and stuff down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.